Hey guys, how's it going, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be looking at some games played between DrKnown and Seikoo. This is DrKnown in the orange. I don't know why he changed his name to this. He might have just wanted to play anonymous for a bit, but he uploaded these games to Ball Chasing himself, so I'm assuming that he doesn't mind if I just go and make a video about this. And hey, he's not going to mind everybody seeing that nice goal on a former world champion, Seikoo, to kick off the video. But yeah, I'm really curious to see Seikoo's gameplay in particular, and obviously a matchup with DrKnown is a great one to take a look at. DrKnown, one of the prodigies in the Middle East right now, coming out of Saudi Arabia. Him and his teammates, Nush and Ops, make up the youngest RLCS roster pretty much in the world who have had any semblance of success. That's a really nice challenge by DrKnown. Not really throwing himself into the ceiling challenge like a lot of people would. Just taking his time, letting the ball come to him, and actually winning the 50-50 as a result. Yeah, Seikoo. Let's talk about Seikoo a little bit for just for a second here, because despite the fact that he's a 2021-22 world champion, 2022-23 world championship runner-up, and also just to add to his list of accolades, major 1 winner of this season. He was major 3 runner-up last season. I mean, every line he goes to, he shows up. That's not a bad goal by Seikoo, by the way, as he takes off from the back corner wall to get the flip reset towards the near post bottom corner. But yeah, even the most recent LAN, the first time that Seikoo's not made a grand final at a LAN he's played at in well over a year. Every time he just makes a grand final, if he qualifies for an RCS LAN, he's in the final. But yeah, he finally didn't make one. That was in London, and it was at the hands of Falcons in a Game 7 semi-final. So literally 1 game away from another final, 5 in a row RLCS finals at LANs he's made. And somehow he's still underrated. I don't feel like he gets the credit he deserves. So I want to talk about him just as much as DrKnown, who's popping off, by the way. Beautiful flick from close range to go up 3-1 here. Yeah, really interesting match. We got the MENA Prodigy, next gen, coming out of the Middle East, up against Seikoo, who was once upon a time the Prodigy when he debuted in RLCS in the 2021-22 season. The season he ended up winning with BDS. He debuted at the end point way back then, and he was a mechanical monster. He completely took the European online scene by storm and had phenomenal LAN performances as well. But you know, why can't his playstyle work in 1v1? I couldn't tell you the answer to that question, because I think it should work in 1v1. He's very mechanical, he's very smart, and he's also just a very consistent player. He's not really, at any point in his career, looked like he's fallen off, not had a slump. He's been very consistent. His team slumped BDS at the start of the 22-23 season, but I don't really attribute that to Seikoo as an individual. I never at that, any stage of that slump thought, yeah, this guy's washed, he's never coming back. It really was just a matter of when and how, and it looked like the roster change. Well, eventually it looks like all they needed was a roster change, and they were right back on top. But on this game, we're going to be on DrKnown POV the whole time. We're just going to see what he's up to. DrKnown is a very grounded player, very smart player when it comes to 1v1. Loves to play more along the lines of the Khaled philosophy of 1v1. Khaled, one of the greatest ones players of all time. You know, kind of inspired, I'll say half of the MENA players, and the other half were inspired by Ahmad, and they both have polar opposite playstyles. Khaled, low 50, bounce dribble, ground game, mind games, ground shots, whereas Ahmad, aerial, air roll, let's just go as fast as possible and try and score the best goal, best highlight reel moment of every tournament I play in. It seems like future generations of MENA players are falling into one of those 2 categories, and DrKnown is more towards the Khaled side, not because he isn't mechanical. I mean, you have to be mechanical these days. You have to always be mechanical. Even Khaled was towards the tail end of his career. But just looking at the way he plays, he's got a much more methodical style. It's really interesting to see. Most of the young players you see coming out these days are just all guns blazing, mechanics, full send. It's really refreshing to see a player like DrKnown who doesn't mind slowing the game down, doesn't mind playing the long game, trying to outwit his opponent like he did in that last play. But here we are, 4-4. DrKnown again just taking his time with his takeoff. He's used a lot of boost on that attack, so he actually doesn't want to follow through. Again, just hoping that Seikoo's going to panic and give the ball away. Seikoo does not oblige. Seikoo's not really the kind of player I'd expect to fall for these kind of tricks, but he nearly fell for one there. DrKnown misses the long-range open net. It was a bit of a tricky one to get around in time before Seikoo arrived on the scene. And DrKnown would have loved for that ball to bounce up. If that bounced up over Seikoo's head, it would have been much more awkward. Bouncing out like that, not what he wanted. Very even back and forth in the midfield here, though. DrKnown is going to come out on top in 5-4. Just edges himself in front. Not by much. It's been a very methodical game by both players, actually. A very strategical game. Now Seikoo slowing his kickoff down. And DrKnown still manages to come away with a 100 boost. And a good position for himself to try and establish this lead, really cement it into the final minute. Seikoo controlling the ball beautifully in the back corner there. Nice bounce up into the air to get the air dribble started. Flip reset from the edge of the box. And then DrKnown just waiting for the ball to come to him in defense before flicking it lengthwise. Just to test Seikoo, make sure that he's still awake going into the final 40 seconds of the game. And Seikoo doesn't have any boost here. DrKnown probably knows that, but he actually put himself in the line of fire. That's a massive mistake by DrKnown. Seikoo's going to loop around and get a goal, and oh dear, what a mistake. He had a huge boost advantage, but he put himself directly in the line of fire. Thought Seikoo was going to 50-50 the ball. Seikoo just drove through it. Drive challenge. Demo follow through. And it's a goal to tie the game with just 30 seconds left. Another good position for Seikoo here. Just a testing shot. Forcing DrKnown to use a lot of his boost here. He's going to flip reset once in defense. Maybe goes for his second one there. Couldn't pull it off in time. Seikoo has control. Delays his flick. DrKnown on the back foot, but surviving. Oh, is he let one through though? Seikoo has managed to take the lead with 9 seconds to go. And it was again very methodical, intelligent play. He didn't rush the finish. He didn't care about missing the target with the first shot. He just had to get the ball past DrKnown. Can DrKnown respond now? 5 seconds to go. Went for the low 50. Seikoo calls it. Knew that was coming. And now he's all over him. That should be the win for Seikoo. DrKnown definitely had his winning position in this game. He let himself get demoed at a pretty key moment. And then he got outplayed. Seikoo with a really, really good outplay. Just really an educational play there. Not worrying about shooting on target. Especially in ones, sometimes it's just better to get the ball past your opponent, worry about shooting on target on the rebound. But we've got one more game that these guys played against each other. Let's take a look at game number 2, see who comes out on top. Alright, for game number 2, we're going to go in Seikoo POV, see what he's getting up to. There you can see DrKnown's name that he's decided to play as for this ranked session. These games were played, well, at the time of recording just a couple of days ago, so they're very recent games. Seikoo about to head over to Esports World Cup in Saudi, getting the mechanics nice and warm with some 1v1 ranked. But he's down by 1 again. Started off the last game down by 1. He starts off this game down by 1. DrKnown has caught him off guard a couple times with those just fast-paced acceleration plays in the air. Goes for the same kind of idea there with just a direct shot. Lovely mix-up by DrKnown, because there is always a chance that your opponent pre-jumps when you've got a nice bounce like that. Seikoo, not one to commit to plays any earlier than he has to. He's just taking his time here. Quite happy to play against a 100 boost DrKnown instead of rushing a shot against a low boost DrKnown, and he puts the ball past him like it doesn't matter how much boost he's got. Ties the game 1-1. Yeah, I really hope we do get to see more of Seikoo in 1v1. I'm already a fan of watching him play after only seeing a few games. Just a very positionally sound player, and he's starting off with a defensive play style a little bit more than most players who are known for 3s and 2s do. You know, it's a lot of time players who are very mechanical just prefer to challenge immediately on every play, because sitting back can be uncomfortable. Giving your opponent space on the pitch to play with can be uncomfortable, letting them have the run of show. But Seikoo, very, very talented third man, maybe even at times the best third man in the game when it comes to 3v3. So he's more than used to reactive defending. Oh, nice snipe by DrKnown here. Just slots it past Seikoo. He thought he had time to stick up field for a boost grab. He did not have that much time. And now it's 2-2. You will see a lot of games these days which are just, and even we're seeing it a little bit in these games between these players. See just constant high-flying aerial offense. It's one player trying to score an aerial goal down the other end of the pitch. Aerial goal attempt to the other side. Full pitch air dribbles. Multiple flip resets. And just, you know, hope and pray defense or wild interception defense. And, you know, if the attacker strings it together, there's not much you can do. But these guys have played a lot more of a ground game as well. More than we're used to seeing these days at the highest level of 1v1. And Seikoo is hanging there comfortably with DrKnown. You'll know, if you've seen DrKnown's gameplay in the past, and if you've heard what I said earlier in this video, that he does this a lot. This is what he's used to. He tries to get the game into the ground predominantly, and then mix it up with those aerial plays, those fast plays, to keep his opponent guessing. It doesn't seem to be a problem for Seikoo. He's quite happy to just go play this chess match with the KSA Prodigy. DrKnown looking for an opening. Boost steal at the far side of the pitch, but really nothing going there. Look at Seikoo. No nonsense. As soon as he saw DrKnown turning, just flicks it into the open net. Not even close to DrKnown being able to save that one. It does seem like DrKnown is having a little bit more doubt with his offense. He's not quite sure if he can get the ball past Seikoo. Certainly not as confident as Seikoo was getting the ball past him in that last exchange. Let's see, what will DrKnown do here? Going for an irritable bump. Lands it, but the ball has gone off target. Can he get around it? Yes, he can. So he does enough. Switches it up again. Irritable bump this time. Demos Seikoo close to crossbar height. And although the ball didn't go immediately in, it was enough. Seikoo showing some great mix-ups with the kickoff game. Gotta give him credit there for a player who's not really associated with 1v1. He's had some phenomenal kickoff switch-ups, drive kickoff there. We've seen delays from him. We've seen, wave dash recovery kickoffs, standard kickoffs. This is something you need these days if you're going to hang with top-tier players in ones. You cannot be predictable in any aspect of the game. Seikoo is certainly not a predictable player. That's a great save by DrKnown. Lands perfectly on the boost. Seikoo knows he cannot grab the boost on the far side or he will get beaten, but even then, that flick was way past him. Luckily for Seikoo, it hit the post. Now here comes DrKnown again. Flip reset. Nails it. I mean, he should not be. I was going to say, this guy should not be afraid to attack against Seikoo. This guy's got some crazy mechanics when he can put it all together. At times he just looks a tiny bit trigger shy. Looks like he might be a little bit hesitant to just go for it. But after going down in this game, that hesitation is gone. Irritable bump, flip reset. Oh, he went for another one there, but the recovery is still good enough. Well, that is just ridiculous. DrKnown missed the irritable bump, landed perfectly inside of Seikoo's net, and demoed him on the exit. And Seikoo was motionless on the respawn. He can't be too happy about that one. He probably thought, great, I've avoided the demo, the ball's hitting the crossbar, nothing to worry about. Oh, I'm dead. Great, he's just demoed me from the other side. Love that. I'm sure even pro players still get tilted by this. Now DrKnown self-pass off the back corner wall. Great technique to set up an aerial play in ones, straight down the middle of the pitch. Can also, be a pretty good twos play as well there. Can DrKnown get a shot on target here? It's not a fast one. At least not fast enough for Seikoo to get back and save. And Seikoo just slams a challenge in the next play and scores with said challenge. It's 6-5. DrKnown had a great chance again to go up late in the game. The last game we watched, he had a chance to stay up late in the game. This time he had a chance to go up late, and he has missed it. Seikoo proving to be, at least for now, the more clutch of the two players. Final minute approaching. Boost steal for Seikoo. DrKnown brings it down. Oh, he's kind of killed the bounce there. There's not really a lot to play for there. That's not what he wanted to do. I mean, if you're going to roll the ball at your opponent, you've got to have some way of making a play on it. You've got to either be able to overtake the ball and cut into it. You've got to be able to overtake the ball and bump your opponent, or maybe you just got to be able to get the ball rolling off target so you can cut it into a productive direction. DrKnown couldn't do any of these things. Well, Seikoo nearly left the door open for a goal there. I'll tell you what, he might have overextended there for a boost, but he's gone unpunished. Seikoo now down the middle. Will he return the favour with the bump game? I think it was probably on there. It looked like the play to me, but he wanted to play clean, and it didn't work out. Seikoo looking like he's got a follow-through bump now, though, and that will be 7. So Seikoo does extend his lead. DrKnown has just not been clinical at the end of these games, and Seikoo has been certainly more clinical, taking the chances much more often than DrKnown has. DrKnown needs a goal. He needs one now. This is going to be a tough position to score one from. He might be able to get some kind of shot on target. No, runs out of boost, doesn't have a flip, and that's going to be game. Seikoo actually takes down DrKnown in both of their ranked matchups. And actually, a really good forfeit timing there by DrKnown, right as the ball's about to cross the line. Pretty cool freeze frame to end the video on. But yeah, Seikoo looking good in 1v1. DrKnown is no slouch. He's still on the come up. He's got a ways to go before he's going to be at the top tier of 1v1 and indeed of 3v3. But at the ripe age of, 13, 14? I think he was 13 at the start of the season. I don't know if he is now. Let me just check that for you guys, because I know he was. But he looks like he's 14 now. November birthday, so he'll be 15 before they start the next season. Yeah, plenty time for him to become a player of true RLCS LAN caliber, like Seikoo. But yeah, Seikoo looking like he's got one's potential. I'd love to see more of him in this game mode. Love to see how he matches up against more aerial-based players. He looks very comfortable in the ground game matchup, the mind game matchup, heavy, chess game style, which is a bit, nostalgic to watch, really, if you're an old fan of the one scene and the Khaled versus apparently Jack, 5 minutes of low 50s in mind games battles that we used to be able to enjoy. But yeah, I'd love to see Seikoo match up against a more aerial-based player as well. Although I don't know if he's ever going to play show matches or tournaments. I don't think he's ever played show matches or won tournaments, but yeah, might be able to spot him in some ranked games if we're lucky. Catch him in the wild. But that's going to be all for today's video, guys. These are the only 2 games I could find that these guys have played recently in ones. GG's, Seikoo taking both of them, both competitive games. So but that's all we're going to have time for today's video. Hopefully you've enjoyed these ranked games. If you want to see more DrKnown and Seikoo, let me know in the comments. And until the next video, I'll see you guys later. Take care.